same exact thing as we did last year. I'm probably going to set the same exact locations, same amount of traps, just for a baseline to see if we're at any lower of a population. If you remember, we caught 119 raccoons and possums in this 20-acre bottom field last year. And you know, did we do any good? Was I too late? Because yeah, I started trapping, May 10th time frame. I thought maybe I was a little bit late, but I was doing what I could. We had a baby on May 5th, so I was trying to not go anywhere, and then I was trying to look for projects to do close to the house, and decided to do this based off of trail cam observations and what we were seeing. Anyway, let's get to work. I've got 3 locations right here. We've got a little drain that comes down to the main creek and bunches of big hardwoods that all kind of drain right in here. And we've got some old deer trails that cross, and it's just a perfect spot. So I'm going to do 2, 2, and 2, gang set them, knock them out. Here we go. So it hasn't rained very much this spring, so I should be able to see a pretty good amount of tracks and be able to gauge what kind of raccoon population we got compared to last year. So this spot that I'm in right now, last spring was nothing but raccoon tracks. And I'll show it to you. I actually videoed this spot last year. Here's this main creek, comes down through here, and here's this drain. And we have quite a few coon tracks. But like I said, it hasn't rained in probably a month. You can see all these pad tracks. There's deer. Actually some turkey tracks in here as well. But last year this was a beat down, just nothing but raccoon tracks. And we were getting rain almost every other day. But this is probably a month's worth of coon tracks. Here's some right here. But perfect spot. 1, 2. Then right over there I'll set another 2 kind of underneath that tree right there. And then I'll hop over. There's another ditch that comes out of this, and I'll set a double over there. So I'm standing in the exact same spot that I filmed the intro to these shows last year, where I talked about we were going to start trapping raccoons on this place. And I'm looking for raccoon tracks. And I see a few, but not as many as we had. So, like I said, I'm going to set the exact same spots that I did last year, because they're all really the same trails, same deer trails, just easy trapping. This is the most invasive set that I have on the whole place, and I'm only 40 or 50 yards into the timber. The only reason is because that's the main creek over there, and then this little feeder ditch, you can see it right here, runs down through this hardwood to the main creek. And last year when I was in here, this trail up here on the top side, you can kind of see this, was loaded with coon tracks. So I got a trap right there, and I'm going to set another one right here. Same exact spots as the last time. Probably don't even need to really use a hammer in here. This one is a little tougher. But like I said, I'm doing the same things that I did last year. Same DP traps, same live traps. The only difference that I'm doing now, and I started doing this back late last summer, this fall and this winter, I started using this bait. It's called Malicious, and I don't know if you probably can't read that. I've been carrying, so I buy it in the gallons, and you can also buy it in the quarts. But I carry this quart jar around, and I refill, out of my gallons into this. So the label's kind of beat off of it. But anyway, probably can't see it, but it looks like it's just like Purina fish food, and then it's got a liquid on it. And I know the fella that makes it, and the best he can describe is he puts a liquid on it that makes it kind of like catnip to raccoons. Once they walk by it, once they start eating it, they do not stop. And what I have found is you don't have to bait your trap nearly as heavily. The mice don't seem to bother it quite as bad. The ants don't bother it quite as bad. So I barely fill it to the trigger, and then I take this big marshmallow and I shove it inside of there, just like that, just in case you do have a rat find your trap. This way they can't necessarily get that marshmallow out of there, and they can't get by it to excavate the bait out of it. So what I've found is if a coon walks by a trap and he starts to eat this stuff, he doesn't eat it down to the trigger or just eat a few pieces of it. He keeps eating until he gets caught, and typically there's always bait left in the bottom of the trap. Last summer I was doing some testing with it, and I actually put like 10 kernels of it in the bottom of a DP trap and was catching raccoons. So a little more expensive than your cat food, but in the long run I think you probably save money because you're using less bait, and you're also kind of catch more, I think, because they eat it much more readily. Ugh. Pretty cool little spot right here. Just another one of them little feeder ditches. Comes out of big hardwoods, leads up there to the main creek and the main field, bottom field. And this is where a lot of them are coming through. I'll show you the tracks. Check that out. Loaded. Loaded, loaded, loaded. Check day number one. Typically when I'm coyote trapping, I would say that catching a coyote on the first trap is bad luck. However, this ain't coyote trapping, this is raccoons. And first night I'll take them on every trap. So pretty neat. Single here, and the second one's back in there. Nice little double. Field edge, creek. Last year we actually had a hen turkey have a nest right there about 50 yards away. So I've got traps in the same spots again. I think I caught like 40 some of the 119 within 100 yards of that turkey's nest last year. So hopefully she's got one there again. We're gonna give her a little protection. And this spot I showed you yesterday, just loaded with coon tracks. Got us another double. Yep. This anchor system works so good. You wouldn't think this would work. Check this out. This is just a 20-inch piece of rebar. In this sandy creek, you just shove them in. Yeah, you can finish it off with a hammer. But those coons, I've never had a coon pull these up, whether it's on hard ground or in this really soft stuff. So we're gonna go back in the same spot, just like this. Same way with this one. See how easy it is to pull them up? So easy to pull up for you, but when a raccoon gets caught in it, he's not thinking pull it up. He's thinking pull to the side. So same deal. Drop her down in. Reset it. Bait it. And away we go. Nothing on the high side. Oh, we got one down there bottom. And you watched me set that one yesterday. Three for three on our first 3 locations. 2 doubles and a single. Not necessarily what a guy wants to see, but at least we're being successful. All right, so we just finished up check day number 1. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 nest predators. We got 13 raccoons and one possum. Still pretty alarming. I mean, last year's check day number 1 was 18. This year's 14. Still an extremely high number. I just hope that the trend doesn't stay that high in the double digits for like 10 days like it did last year. I'm hoping that, you know, today we had 14. I'm hoping tomorrow is like 8, and then it drops to like 5, and then within 5 days almost drops to 0. That's what a typical raccoon line should be like with a healthy population. But we don't know. That's what I'm saying, is you don't know what kind of populations you have out there until you go and set some traps, and you basically just sample the population. Maybe you don't have a problem, but maybe you got a problem like this. So we've got everything reset. We don't have any rain in the forecast. Everything should be good. We'll be back here tomorrow morning for check day number 2.